Just a quick visit to Idiot's Corner, because we're looking at such serious territory. The reason you are struggling to get your head around it is because it was a Labour politician. If it was a Tory, you'd be down that person's throat. Yeah, I'd be calling for them to be expelled from the parliamentary party, probably. I'd certainly be applauding their suspension. I'd be describing them as disgusting and reprehensible and unforgivable. You're absolutely right. I'd be using completely different language if I was talking about a Tory politician than the language that I'm using to talk about. Oh, my bad. It's exactly the same, you muppet. Or not. Have you asked to speak to a Tory politician about this, or is it just Labour? Yeah, of course we've asked to speak to Tory politicians about this. A standing invitation to any of them, mate. So if you see one, just hand them your phone. Just don't tell them who's on the other end. Lucy Fraser, the current Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, declining our invitation to talk to us about this removal or resignation of Richard Sharp. And then another one, the fake setup again. Gove will be the bad guy in an hour as you fake get your opinion changed by callers. It's an early contender for Idiot's Corner. Can you imagine being so boneheaded that you think it's actually impossible for other people to change their mind? So bigoted and stuck in your one-track life are you that you think anyone who is capable of keeping an open mind and changing their views on subjects must be lying or insincere or inauthentic in some way. That's quite tragic. We need a new corner, Tragedy Corner. Idiot's Corner seems, I don't know, too flippant for some of my more challenged contributors. We call Tragedy Corner. I don't know. Well, it is short-termism as well as partisan. Funny how the texts work. Pleased to hear that caller talking about heavy management, as that is what Labour brought in. Keir's comment is a neat soundbite, nothing more. That's Idiot's Corner, I'm afraid, isn't it? Because you're talking about the decline in patient satisfaction and the rocketing of waiting lists from 2010 onwards, but you're trying to somehow blame it on the Labour Party. So that's pure Idiot's Corner. And Tony doesn't think so. He says, are you delusional? Concerns about immigration in your London bubble may not be aired as vociferously as they were. Tony, mate, I'm James O'Brien. I'm presenting a radio show on LBC that is famous for having racists ring in. I'm talking to many people about where that anger has gone. It's not an anger you feel. Of course, racists still exist, but does the media political nexus that uses racism to create a toxic atmosphere around all of immigration feel as if it has, perhaps temporarily, lost its sting? I don't know. 11:37 is the time. Outside London, I can tell you racism and concerns about immigration are alive and kicking. I was witnessing Islamophobic abuse of the mayor of London in the Royal Festival Hall in London last night. I don't know where you get this idea. Anyway, Idiot's Corner for you, my friend. I'm going to put Mike in Swindon in Idiot's Corner. Mike writes, you still talking about Boris? It's such a yesterday topic. That's a level of stupidity on display there, Mike, that I find performative and also close to unbelievable. I mean, if it was even vaguely funny, I'd think it was some sort of parody. But at 4:00 today, the deadline expires for the government to hand over the WhatsApp messages and diaries of the man who was in charge of the government's response to the largest and most lethal crisis this country has ever faced in peacetime. If you think that's yesterday's story, then I'm afraid you are. Well, Idiot's Corner seems too generous. It seems too polite. It seems too kind. Anyway, you're in Idiot's Corner, and here's a good one. Wow. A conspiracy corner today. Stop banging on about Partygate and discuss the WHO pandemic treaty, which will have us locked down forever. Right you are. Honestly, these people are allowed near scissors. Offering up those opinions. So I'm sort of just nodding towards Idiot's Corner because I've just seen that some people are claiming universal basic income is part of a lasso to pull you into total dependence on the state, or that it's part of a World Economic Forum plan to enslave us all. Okay. So be aware that these people walk among us.